Welcome back, guys, and I've got Attikus's gear video for you finally. It took a while to go through and finish all of his lore, mainly because that Rendane punch in the face thing, I pretty much rage quit when going after that. But then they patched it, and I already had a few hits on him, so I got that, so I can finally do his gear video. Attikus, he hits like a truck, but he is incredibly slow, both in his attack and movement speed. So my favorite gear for him is actually attack speed. I love stacking attack speed on him. You can also get some through his helix, but yeah, it's really massive. Also, like Shane and Aurochs, he's doing most of his damage through his basic attacks. His skills add damage, but Pounce is a movement mainly. Now silence on it now is really cool, but it was never, Pounce isn't really used for its damage. And the Hydronic Arc is a good damage addition, but you're also doing your basic attack with it. So I also love attack damage with him. So let's start looking at some gear. Start with his legendary, the Hadronic Amplifier. So this one is attack damage and skill damage, two good stats to have. And attacks charged by the Hydronic Arc will slow on the first hit for each enemy. This is a pretty big deal. Now, I don't know if that quite works when the attacks charged by the arc. When the arc arcs off and hits more enemies around it, I don't know if that also slows them, or is when you actually punch them when you have Hydronic Arc activated. For those of you wondering, I will skip back to his skills here, and it is skill number 2, Hydronic Arc. Electrifies Attikus for 8 seconds. Damaged enemies are shocked and wounded, taking 88 damage over 4 seconds. Fully charged, shock also damages nearby enemies. And then also with your helix, you can go over here. Hydronic Arc chains to nearby enemies, dealing reduced damage to additional targets. So I don't know with that chaining off if that works with that, or just when you punch him when you have it. But because one of his problems is he is a little bit slow-footed and has slower attack speed, that you can go through and hit that enemy, but then they can easily run away from you. This really helps them not be able to run away from you, and you can get some more attacks in and hopefully finish them off. And that combined with the two other ones, I think it's a pretty good legendary. My secondary piece I have on this loadout with him is skill damage and attack speed. This way you're really ramping up that skill damage for that arc and stuff, and you're getting some speed attack damage. I could probably swap this out for, let's go to type here, some attack speed. Attack speed and critical hit would work. If you're taking health damage, I wouldn't want something like that. This one here wouldn't be bad. Attack speed and more after taking shield damage. If I had one where the secondary was after dealing melee damage, that would be perfect. But yeah, great piece of gear here. Or I guess attack speed is. Sorry. And then I just have a shards in here that reduces reload speed. That doesn't matter to him. I wish I had a perfect one of this, but I've yet to find it. That way it's easier to activate 2 of these. Now on his melee DPS, here I've got a purple attack damage and attack speed. The stats are not maxed, and actually this is one of those cases, I left that purple on there so I could switch this back to here. This green for him is, not this green, this screen for him is probably better, because you get the better stats and you get the attack speed after landing a melee hit, but you're always going to be hitting melee with him since that's what he is. So you can see here, for 300, almost 300 less shards, I can get something with a little better stats that's pretty much always active. And that makes it a lot easier to activate, obviously. So it's not always higher colors are better. Here I had just a basic white attack speed. So I didn't think any of the blues, a lot of times when you go in with him, his shield drops quick enough, so I didn't think you'd really get a bonus from this worth paying for all of it. So I just went with a straight white. And then here I have skill damage and attack speed. So the attack speed once again after landing a melee hit. So with this setup here, I have 5% there, so 10% attack speed there. Another 8, so you're looking at 18.5, 18 and a half, I think, with these two roughly. And then you can get another 20% from his skill. And at that point, you're, 38.5% attack speed is a big deal. And with this, I'm also increasing basic attack damage, which is obviously great, and giving some to my skill damage as well. That will help out. So this is one of my favorite setups with him. It's cheap. With 2 greens and a white. If I had an attack speed that had a negative other than shield strength, I would throw that on and make it even cheaper. Or maybe a green attack speed. I don't have any I've kept that I've really liked. But yeah, I love stacking attack speed on him. Because the other reason it's really good on him is he has got a lot of life steal. I will save that here. So when you go into his helix, a portion of damage dealt by the arc is returned as lifesteal. So the more often you punch, the more damage you're putting out with the arc, the more lifesteal. You go down here, and Pounce gives Attikus lifesteal on all damage dealt for a short time, 30% lifesteal. That's a big percent. Faster you can punch, better you can stay alive. 15% lifesteal by melee attacks. So you start to see all of that add up. And, there's your attack speed. These are just more arc things. But that's a big deal. Stacking attack speed with him. You DPS because his attack speed is painfully slow, kind of like Boulder. But also it helps his survival because he survives a lot on lifesteal. So that's a really good way to do it. You could just go full tank with him, and here I have a very expensive tank setup. I got a free shard generator so I can afford these two, but I have the Modernista with the maximum shield strength and cooldown time, and then you have a 20% chance bullets hit your shield to reflect back at your attacker, which is very cool. Definitely pretty tanky. And then the Pain Reknitter, which I used to like more when its secondary was shield, but health, damage reduction, and more health. And again, his shield's going to break fairly often, so you'll get a lot of stacks and get a lot of health. I tried running with something like this the other day, but I really missed having this kind of attack speed. So yeah, I don't know if they're as effective. And here I have kind of a cheaper tank, just stacking all those. But if you're going to go with a tank, it's probably a better idea to not go full tank, maybe do a 1 gear tank with a secondary. I don't think I have any really good options on that. With a secondary attack speed item or something that would help them a little bit more. Critical hits you can go with, like this, critical hit and attack speed. Although I don't notice I'm landing a ton of crits with him, with his attack speed and all that. So I don't know if I had to wait and go with a critical hit. Putting movement speed on him, though, is a pretty decent thing because he is kind of slow and people can get away from him. So, something like this, movement speed and sprint speed always on, would not be a bad piece of gear to throw on him as well. Shield strength buffs are not bad at all, like I said. He goes in so his shields break fairly quick, but with that, delay might be a little bit better. Get your shield up pretty quick. Shield recharge per second, I'd probably go with delay over that just because, he's going to be getting hit, so the faster it can go up, the better. Shield penetration, he already has some of that built in if you get up to 5 charges, But adding in some shield penetration wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for him. But I don't know if that's the best. Cooldown, I don't think cooldown's that good on him, actually. And cooldown's never a bad thing, but a lot of times with Attikus, you're kind of holding your skills for the right moment, and you're making sure you want to always have 5 charges as well. So he's not like Thorn, where you can just spam Blight and Volley, you know, all willy-nilly, because they'll come back, or Arendi, where you're just spamming her skills all over the place. With Cleese, you're much more selective on how you're using his skills, so I'm not a big fan of going into cooldown for him, because it just seems like kind of a waste. You obviously don't need to reload on him. Now, I wouldn't take a red item with negative cooldown, though, because that might hurt you. And then damage reduction, I don't think is that good. That's why I only keep my legendary ones. The health regen per second, I kind of played around with having these a little bit with him. You know, help his survival a little bit. But he seems a little bit more durable now after the patch. Now this purple one I have that's like a secondary attack damage is not bad at all. So I would definitely consider throwing something like this on a build for him. As far as negatives to get free whites, recoil and reload speed are the two main ones I'd really go with for him. The heal power stuff, he does have lifesteal, so you want to stay away from negatives on those. You definitely don't want any kind of attack speed or damage, or even cooldown. I said I don't like on him. You won't want negative cooldown on anybody ever. But yeah, recoil, reload would be the main 2 I would look for if you find negatives with those, to kind of save some of your costs. I don't know if I have, but even like blues and purples, sometimes you'll find ones of those with a red. Like this is negative shield strength, obviously not something I would put on him. But if you find a purple with some good stats and a negative on a stat that doesn't hurt you like those, that's definitely pretty positive as well. So that's kind of where I go with Cleese gear. But like I said, the main thing is if you can stack a lot of attack speed, you're going to notice a massive difference with him. Not only just how fast he can kill things, but how well you can stay alive as well. This new patch kind of changed him quite a bit, and I'll go into that in another video. I wanted to wait to kind of talk about these characters with the post-patch until I had some time to kind of play with them a little bit. Unfortunately, I'm a political junkie, and the conventions are rolling out, and I have to watch them all day, so just got done listening to Bernie speak. It's 11 o'clock at night here, and I'm recording this, and I'm going to bed, so I can get it up in the morning for you guys. Anyways, thanks for watching. More videos coming. Bye.